Thanks for the introduction. I am Cody Horchek. I'm the CEO of Zerv, and Zerv, what we do is access simplified. To understand what we're simplifying, we first need to look at the problem. So we categorize ourselves as moving away from touch required access, which is inefficient, insecure, and unsanitary. So when I say touch required access, anything where you present a badge, a fob, a transponder to an access infrastructure to open a door or a gate, that is touch required access, and that's the problem that we're solving for. The problem of inefficient is historically those credentials are issued by hand, and that in the current market right now, human-to-human interaction is not ideal for something that can be automated. In addition to that, for one environment, let's say it's a parking garage into the office building and then into the suite, you can have numerous different credentials for different environments, as well as those legacy touch required access infrastructures are not connected, are not standardized, and that can lead to data being stored in silos and lost information. So that is the first problem. The second is those systems are historically insecure. Those credentials can be easily cloned for a minimal amount of money. And once they're cloned, they're difficult to identify if they're compromised until it's too late. So Zerv is solving for touch required access, and which can also be unsanitary. With everything going on right now with COVID, viruses can live on surfaces up to 72 hours and they're highly contagious. So once again, touch required access is unsanitary, and those are just a handful of the problems that Access Simplified is solving for and Zerv is solving for. But the transition from touch required to touchless also is a problem. It requires significant change, and those changes can lead to significant downtimes and cost of update. So when we say Access Simplified, what Zerv does is it creates touchless access that is easy to adopt. How we do that is we take all existing credentials that you have in your life, whether that's to get into a parking garage, into an office building, into your apartment, or your individual suite in an office building, and we consolidate those into one secure and simple mobile application that runs on iOS and Android. We then take that information that's stored on the phone and we relay that back to the existing infrastructure in place without changing anything to the existing infrastructure, but instead complementing it. So touchless access now can be achieved by a mobile phone to the legacy system by plugging in our one tiny little device into any access control infrastructure, regardless of the generation, of the frequency, of the format. Our tiny plugin bridges the gap between legacy infrastructure and modern technology like an iOS or Android device. Once we do that, we really simplify the interaction between residential, multifamily, healthcare, hospitals, transportation, and commercial. At this point, most people ask, well, what if it's a new build and we don't have the legacy systems? Well, we have readers and locks as well. And if that's something that interests you, all of our readers and locks come with Zerv's technology in them and out of the bag communicate with mobile phones as well as any legacy access badges that you need it to work with. And all of this is controlled through one simple system, one web-based admin portal where you can invite people, you can set parameters, you can set schedules, and then you can go back and view history for an indefinite amount of time. This, all of that combined gives us 4 real large value propositions. The first one is we're able to standardize numerous systems. So if we take Willis Tower, for example, in downtown Chicago, there's 197 tenants in that one building. That means 197 different access control systems that are all siloed. So we can standardize those all in one day through our simple plugin, allowing us to communicate from the mobile phone directly to those legacy systems. We also then modernize that system. What's been very interesting in the past couple months with COVID is we've actually seen a significant amount of market development because of Zerv's technology. We've brought on partners that are looking to deploy technology in self-touring of apartment buildings. Leveraging our technology, they're able to do that without any human-to-human interaction. And then fourth but not least, security. We add a tremendous amount of security to those legacy systems by removing the passive access credential that's currently in place and bringing that over to a iOS and or Android comparable security model and leveraging the security they've built out there. So these are our value propositions. Basically, what Zerv does is we fill the legacy access, which most people know as presenting their employee access badge or fob to the reader, and we secure it, and we also make it mobily enabled. But if you also have a very modern system that already does secure access that's mobily enabled, we can fill in the gap so that communicates with all the other systems in the building to truly provide one environment without changing anything to any of those systems. So now that you can walk through and communicate with all of the legacy infrastructure. Some of our partners include very large parking companies, visitor management, and tenant experience applications and valet parking. And they very much enjoy our technology because it's one user experience streamlined across all legacy infrastructure. So whether you're using the Zerv mobile app or you're using one of our partners' mobile application, with one app, now we're able to facilitate access through all legacy systems. We have a pretty heavy saturation of customers in Chicago, but we've recently branched into Toronto with companies like Quadreal and Dream and Kingset, and over to Boston, New York, San Francisco, LA, Atlanta. We're growing pretty quickly because of what's going on with COVID, and we provide a lot of benefits in addition to access control. By consolidating all the readers in one building, we're able to get a lot of data that wasn't available before. So the high level benefit that we're providing is mobile touchless access. Touchless in a current market where touching things is a swear word right now. And we can consolidate, we can make everything touchless without changing it. So we support OpenPath, Proxy, HID, Gallagher, Keyscan, some of the largest names in access control and some of the largest startups in touchless access. We can consolidate them under one umbrella, and that's available before, like contact tracing. Once we have all these systems consolidated under one seamless user interface, we're able to get data of who's checked in, who's checked out, audit logs, and that can be applied through advanced analytics and understanding contact tracing, as well as capacity monitoring. And we can do so, and we're the only company that can do so without changing anything. We complement the existing system. We put our device in, we provide a unified platform to control access throughout the entire building. And through our advanced analytics, we have a lot of COVID support in the current environment. Installation is simple. It takes about 30 seconds per device to install it. We can install an entire building in less than a day. We onboard an infinite number of users in less than an hour. The install process is you basically take the reader off the wall, you plug our device in the back, and then you're ready to go. Regardless of the generation of the reader, regardless of the manufacturer, the frequency, the format, the protocol, we have a device that plugs in as easy as this represents. For new builds, we were talking about smart locks in a couple of slides earlier, but we also have a smart reader in beta that some local customers here in Chicago have given us some very positive feedback about. It can communicate through the wiring that the building already has in place to the access controller, but for new builds, we can actually leverage Wi-Fi and just a 12-volt connection to the reader, which has a built-in relay, and we can mesh those systems so no additional wiring is needed or hardware like an access controller, and we can control everything through a web-based portal. So that's Zerv. Zerv is access simplified. We're excited for what the opportunities we have, and we're providing a lot of support in the current environment of COVID. So excited about what's to come next.